In this video, I'm going to show you some great jazz voicings for the tune Round Midnight by Thelonious Monk. Bunch of reasons why you want to do this, not the least of which is it's in the key of G flat, which is a lot of flats. And you'll see those keys in a lot of jazz compositions, including Body and Soul and a bunch of others. And so in this video, by the time you get to the end, you'll have a pretty clear idea, actually crystal clear, on the voicings that I use. In fact, I did a full recording of this recently, which I'm going to post up here in the corner. So you know what the goal is to be able to play chord voicings just like that. Now, a lot of videos talk about voicings, but what they do is they give you a sheet and they ask you to play it like it is on the sheet. In this video, I'm going to discuss the chords one by one and why you want to play your chords like this. And we're going to get started in just a second. Okay, so this is the tune Round Midnight. I'm going to play you the first line. Again, I posted a link earlier to the entire recording of that, but it's a great piece and I'm going to show you the voicings that I'm using. Now, the reason why you want to do this is because these types of changes, including the 2-5-1 progressions in minor keys, appear in lots of jazz compositions. And the whole point of jazz is playing on top of what we call lead sheets and standards. And Round Midnight is a standard. It gets called a lot on the stand, and you really need to know this tune. And in other videos, people talk about chords and scales and things like that. I talk about them as well, but I'm going to talk about why you need them. So by the time you get done this video, you'll know what to do. All right, let's start with the chord number one. This is our E flat minor chord. Now the melody you're going to have to catch as a solo piano player. So what I would suggest in this case, it's just an E flat in the left hand and a G flat. Just plunk down 1 and 3. Just like that. It's a 10th. A little hard to reach for some people, but it shouldn't be too hard. And then when we get to the C minor 7 flat 5 chord, the chord itself is this. It's C, E flat, and if it were a G natural, it would be a minor 7th chord, but it's a flat 5, so it's a G flat and a B flat, just like this. Now it's C natural down here in the bottom. So that's our chord. And it's in root position, and it works. There is other inversions that you can use, but because the melody note is so low, and that's really the whole point of solo piano, it's like you got to catch the melody. And if you're trying to figure out some like closed voices and things like that for C minor 7 flat 5, it might not always work like this. Like that doesn't sound nearly as good as this. So sometimes just playing the chord in root position works really well. So. And then when we get to the F minor 7 flat 5 chord. So what we're going to do is play 1 and flat 7 in the left hand. Now, just like this chord where you're playing 1 here in flat 7, but some notes in between, a lot of times what you want to do with the left hand is just play 1 and 7, whether it's flat 7 or natural 7. In this case, it's flat 7. And in the right hand, we're going to play, because the E flat is the 7th of the minor 7 flat 5 chord, we're going to play that one also in root position. So again, it's really all about figuring out what notes work well in each particular case. So B natural and then E flat, just like this. So F, A flat, B, and E flat. Now this one's interesting. This alt means altered. It typically means if you're looking at a B flat 7 chord like 1, 3, 5, and 7, and then 9, 11, 13, we know the 11th's not available because it creates a flat 9 with the 3rd of the chord. So the altered note is the sharp 11. and that's a B flat 7 sharp 11 chord. But in this particular case, it's written altered, which means that the 9th and the 13th need to be altered as well. So it's either flat 9 or sharp 9 or flat 13 and or flat 13. So you can't use natural 13 because that's not part of altered. So typically it would be something like this. But it just sounds wrong in this particular case because the melody note is defined as B flat. So what I would suggest is even though altered is kind of like your choice, what we're going to do is we're going to play it like a 9 and a sharp 11. So B flat with a 9 and a sharp 11. So we're going to do 3 and 7 in the left hand, which is D natural, and A flat, just like that. And in the right hand, we're going to play the 9 natural and the sharp 11, which is E natural here. And then our melody note is B flat. So, cool. Nice chord. Now, it's always about, with altered chords, finding out what works best. In this particular case, it's the 9 and the sharp 11. Then when we go to the E flat minor chord, in the left hand, we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to play the root, and we're going to play an F natural. Just like this, because in the right hand, we're going to play essentially the 9, the 3rd, 5th, 7th, and 9th. Just like a G flat major 7th chord over top of this in the bass. So let's write that out. G, G flat, B flat, D flat, and F. Right out of the key. Now, when we get to the A flat 7, I always like to think of that chord in terms of the tritone substitution, which is D7. So in A flat 7, the 3rd is the C and the 7th is the G flat. In D7, the 3rd is the G flat or the F sharp, and the 7th is the C. So we're going to play it like a D7 chord because the right hand is going to fit with this very well. So what we're going to do is play the G flat and the C natural in the left hand. And in the right hand, we're going to play it like a D7 sharp 11 chord. So the 9th, sharp 11th, and 13th is not there because the melody note is actually the C. So it's a great sounding chord, highly recommended. So E natural, A flat, and then the C is the melody note, like that. So for these, we're going to change these to also tritone substitutions because we're going to go down in half steps. So this one's going to be B flat 7, and this one is going to be A7. So the tritone substitutions of E7 and E flat. So the bass is going to go like this: 1 and 7 to 1 and 7 to 1 and 7, and descending in minor seconds because that's a cool sound. So in the right hand, the first 3 notes is the melody, and that actually spells 3, 5, and 7 of B minor. So let's not worry too much about that, but the left hand is going to be B natural and A natural, like this, okay? So, and then when we go down the half step to B flat, it's going to be B flat, D natural, which is the 3rd, and then A flat, and in the right hand, you're going to play 9 and sharp 11 here, like that. Make that a little bit clearer and just make sure that it is an E natural. And then switch to B flat. So same voicing for B flat minor and same voicing for A7, you're just going down in half steps. So in this particular case, it's an A natural, a G natural, and then 9, which is B natural, and sharp 11, which is E flat or D sharp. So. Okay, let's play the whole line. And then it goes on to A flat minor 7, which we're going to do in our next video. In fact, the video that you see at the end of this that I'm asking you to do next is to tackle the next line in this Round Midnight tune. If you have any questions or comments about what I've done here, please ask them below. But this is essentially the voicings that I'm using in that recording that I posted earlier. I'll also put a link to that recording below, and I'll put a link to the lead sheet as well. I would suggest you go through this video a couple times and really try to copy the chord voicings that I'm using and the logic behind it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like it, give it a thumbs up and maybe even subscribe to the channel because there's lots more videos coming like this, like 5 times a week. Thanks for your time.